Hey guys, so I know it's been a while since I've made any training videos or anything like that, and um, so when I posted yesterday about the video I wanted to make, and I titled it "In a Rut" or just "Out of Your Groove," because that's something that I've been dealing with lately, and I feel like probably a lot of you guys can relate, especially a lot of us busy moms. So here's what I mean by that. I've been feeling off, like everything's out of rhythm, everything's out of sync. I don't have time to get anything done. Things fall by the wayside. The things I intend to get done, I just never get. Currently haven't been getting around to. And so so I start feeling like I'm in a rut. And I keep thinking about this, and I'm just like, oh God, I'm just in such a rut. But then I stop and I think about it, and I think, well, I'm really not in a rut. And I keep having this like inner dialogue with myself, trying to figure this out. And I'm like, no, I'm not in a rut. I'm happy. I'm happy at the place I am in life. Things are going great. I don't feel like things aren't going well. They're just not going smooth. Things are not on schedule like they have been before. Things haven't been falling into place. It's been a very, very busy summer. Me and my kids, we usually go swimming minimum one time a week during the summer. Try to go a couple times a week. Well, I can tell you how busy this summer has been. My kids and I have not gone swimming even one time, and we're already starting school back. So that kind of gives you an idea there. And it's just thrown everything off. It's thrown my housekeeping off. It's thrown, spending time with my family, quality time with my family off. It's thrown off my Plexus business. I've been out of my schedule, out of my routine with that. And what I figured out is I'm not in a rut. I'm not in a bad place. Because anytime I think about being in a rut, I think more of being in a bad place. I think being in a rut as a negative thing. What I've realized is I'm not in a rut. I'm just out of my groove. Of course, that just made me think of that movie. What was it called? How Stella got her groove back. That's not the groove I mean. I just mean your day in, day out routine when things are going smooth and you're able to actually get things done. You're like when you're on top of things and things aren't falling by the wayside. That's the groove I mean. But so this all started for me back just before, about 3 weeks before convention. I had surgery. And that's where it all harkens back to, that day, that moment. Having that surgery that I had, and then barely being recovered from that, heading off on an 8-day road trip that included driving from Oklahoma to Las Vegas for convention, and then driving all the way through Oklahoma to Missouri to pick my kids up from summer camp, and then drive back to Oklahoma. And it's just, things have kind of compounded from there, and so I've gotten out of my groove. I don't have that specific time of day where I've been sitting down and reaching out to new prospects, reaching out to potential customers, following up with customers. Like I'm not in that routine right now, and I've gotten out of the routine. And this all started right about that same time with the surgery, and then with being on the road for 8 days and all that, getting out of my groove on doing trainings, like the weekly training videos. I'm out of my groove of keeping in contact with my level 1 ambassadors and working with them and encouraging them. And I want you guys to see where I am and how to get back into that groove. And that's kind of what I'm dealing with right now. I've never stopped fully posting on Facebook. I've gone a few days without posting anything. Posting on Facebook's easy. That's the passive way to run your business. But the way to be successful at your business is to be proactive and to be reaching out, contacting new people, following up with those prospects who you've talked to in the past, who haven't given you just a plain old flat out no, the ones that you keep needing to follow up with. And so I've totally gotten out of my rhythm, out of my groove. So through this new devotional I've actually been doing, which is really funny, what God's teaching me through a very unlikely source. I had seen this devotional when I was out. I was actually picking up prescription for my daughter a couple of weeks ago, and it was called Pressing Pause, and it was like 100 daily devotionals for busy moms or something like that. But man, we were tired and cranky. We'd been at the doctor's office for several hours, and I was just ready to get home. And so they finally called my name to pick up a prescription. I picked it up and walked out the door, forgot to buy the devotional, and I thought, I'll go back and get it in a couple of days. Well, a couple of days later, I did go back to get it, and it was gone. So I'm like, well, shoot. And I thought, Amazon. So I get on Amazon. Sure enough, there it is. And so when I selected it to add it to my cart or something like that, it says, like, people who bought this also viewed these items. And it had another devotional, or I'm not sure that you really call it a devotional. And it's called How to Have a Martha Home in a Merry Way, referring to Mary and Martha Magdalene of the Bible. And I'm very much a Martha. A Martha is the busybody who's always working and serving others and, always keeping the house clean and on top of all those things. That's me. And then Mary is the one who, sits at the feet of Jesus and learns and loves and soaks him in. And I'm not very good at that. I'm not good at just sitting and being still. And so, but I want to get my house organized. I've been, that was kind of another thing. I was without the kids for 2 weeks while they were for 1 week while they were at summer camp. The second week was while I was in Vegas. And so I thought, I'm going to take this week to get my house clean and organized. And I even had help. I had my niece come over and help me. And so we were getting up really early and working till really late. And so that was helping me to stay out of my groove. And, it's just been one thing after another, kind of with all of that. But so they let me think. So I started this because it helps you to, I was reading about it thinking, okay, this will help me to kind of get a game plan, to work a game plan, to get my house more organized, because things have just, I don't like things in disarray, and that's how I've kind of felt lately. So that's what I bought this for. I started on it, started reading on it. I read the introduction, I read the, forward, and then, and it's like, the subtitle on it is 31 Days to Organized Home and a Happy Heart. I don't know, something, and a Satisfied Soul or something like that. And so it starts out on day 0, and it's like prep day, and it talked about how every day there's going to be different challenges, and you have a Mary challenge and a Martha challenge. The Mary challenge every day that's like your devotional time, and it gives you scripture to read. It gives you, and it's like in journal form where it asks a question and you've got the lines there and you write in your book. And so that has been, helping me to get my quiet time in, because that's another thing that I struggle with, is having that quiet time with the Lord. So I've been doing that, and then it has your Martha challenge, which is like, okay, what we're going to do today on cleaning the house. And, and it tackles small things at a time, which is very helpful. If any of you guys are like me and you feel like your household's disorganized, or, you're having trouble staying on top of keeping it clean, and you find yourself constantly getting started but flitting from one thing to another, that's one of my biggest problems. I don't stay on task. I tend to flit. So I get a teeny little bit of everything done all over the house, but that's about it. And I usually have like one day a week that I try to do it all, and it's just impossible. So anyways, Um, but through reading this and seeing I'm like so many other moms, that helps definitely, to know that we all have these same struggles. And it doesn't necessarily talk about moms who run businesses or anything else. But it's about getting in a schedule, getting in a rhythm, getting in a groove. And so it's really pointed out some things in my life with my business, and where I am, where I'm kind of lacking, and how to kind of get that back together. And I would say this is one of those first things of getting back in that groove. Making this video, talking to you guys about this, and I hope that it blesses you guys. I know that I know that others of you out there struggle with this same thing. So, but anyways, if you guys feel like, you know, you were doing great, you had your routine down, you were, you know, contacting at least 2 new people a day, posting on Facebook 3 times a day, and things were going great in your business, and then maybe something happened. And I had several somethings happen. While I was at convention, I had 2 wholesale ambassadors contact me and was like, I don't want any more orders, and just very abrupt. And I'm just like, whoa, like what's happened here? So I tried talking to them, and it was just, it was a very odd situation on both accounts. It wasn't the products weren't working for them or anything else. It was that the products were causing them stress, literally. You know, taking the ProBio and the Cleanse, you know, and drinking their pink drink. They felt like they had to be done at certain times of the day or whatever, and it was causing them stress. And so that was kind of like knocking some wind out of my sails, so to speak. And then you know how it is. You know, you have a customer who's rocking along, and you don't hear from them. You're contacting them. You know, you want to see how they're doing, and you don't hear back from them on it. And then one day you realize they're no longer a preferred customer. Their order's not going through anymore. You try to contact them, and if they do contact you back, it's you know, usually it's something, you know, oh, it didn't work, and, you know, so you try to talk to them, and you say, okay, well, how are you taking your products? And they either don't answer at all, they just don't respond because they don't want to go into it. But, you know, it's always very frustrating because you're like, this is why I was trying to contact you in the beginning. I wanted to go over with you how to take it and how to get the best success. And when people don't listen and they won't respond to your text messages or anything, even when they're excited to use the products and they don't respond, it's so frustrating. And it can definitely knock the wind out of your sails. And it was like back to back to back. And it was just so frustrating for me. And I know you guys know what I'm talking about. If you've been doing this for any length of time whatsoever, it is very, very frustrating. And so it was like, you know, every time I would try to get back into that groove, something else would knock me back. And I know what it is. I know that so much of it is, it's like a spiritual battle, where you're succeeding, you're doing well, you're you know, you're kicking butt and taking names, and the enemy doesn't like it, and the enemy will do anything they can to knock you down. And sometimes that comes in the form of a friend who's a wholesale ambassador who gets mad over plexus and won't talk to you. It makes no sense to me. So those things happen, and it's easy to say, just brush it off and go on. A lot easier to say than it is to do. And I know this from experience. In over 4 years, I've had it. You know, these kinds of things happen a lot. Sometimes it's just jealous people who see you succeeding and they don't like it. And, you know, they kind of ruin your day sometimes, in whatever form that it takes. So I'm here to say brush it off, but I know that it's really hard to just flat out brush off. So don't think that I'm taking that for granted or that I'm just heartless and I can just brush it all off, because I can't. And I just want to be real with you guys on these things. But and I want you to understand that not only do I know where you're coming from on it, I'm there. I've been there, and you know, I want to say, don't let it get you down. Pick right back up. Even if you have a rough day and you're like, forget it, I'm not contacting anybody else today. I've had 2 people, you know, flip me the bird, basically, via Facebook Messenger or whatever, or just ignore you, and it's a friend of yours. And it's really hard when you send a friend a message and they just flat out ignore you. I know that. I get that that's hard. It happens. It happens all the time. And I think to myself, I would never ignore if a friend of mine sent me a message, like an actual friend. If you're a stranger and you send me a message, I may ignore you. But an actual friend that I see all the time or that I talk to all the time, you know, I send them a message that says, hey, you know, I know that you've been struggling with this, and this is something that, you know, Plexus has helped me with, or helped, you know, other people I know with. And, you know, I would love if you, you know, I'd love to talk to you more about it and see if, you know, you may want to give it a shot. And they don't even, you can see that they read the message and they never respond. I know that's hard. And it happens a lot. I would just say, you know, it's one of those bless and release. But remember, you have planted the seed, and you can still follow up with them. Even if they don't respond, just take that as, hey, I need to follow up with this person. And, you know, give them a week or 2 and say, hey, you know, I wanted to send you some more information about, or I'd say give them a week and say, hey, I wanted to send you some more information about that. You said that you've been, you know, struggling with severe heartburn for years and you're over it. You know, and you're going to see the doctor, or you're on medicines, whatever it is. This is a testimony from a friend I know who had the same problem, and this is the products that she took that worked for her, and I just thought you might be interested in reading this. So, you know, they may not respond again, but you've done your part. You've followed back up. You've sent them a testimony of someone who's also struggled with the same issue. So, you know, try, and I'm going to try to be better about this, to not let it get you down. Try to continue to follow up. If they ignore, try to continue to follow up. But try to stay in your groove, because once you've gotten out of the groove, it's a lot harder to get back into it. I know. This isn't the first time I've fallen out of my groove. But I'm going to work real hard to get back into it. And, you know, working on making schedules, and it's hard when you're a busy mom. You know, you're trying to run your household. If you homeschool and you're trying to homeschool your kids, plus you have, you know, a job or businesses to run or whatever. I know it's hard, because I'm one of those. We do have to make time, but we also have to make time for ourselves. That's something that I have really struggled with all summer. I have not made time for myself. I've not, you know, like some of the time that I love to have to myself is to go for a run. Not something I've been doing this summer. I haven't wanted to get up early to run, and by 8 o'clock, it's been too hot, literally. So, that's been a definite struggle. That's one of the things where I've gotten out of my groove. So, I mean, that's definitely something that I'm working on, and I'm trying to get all these things back on a schedule so that I can better keep up with it. But I also know that my schedule has to be flexible. It can't be rigid, because we're humans and things happen. Like today, I had a lot of plans for today. I planned to do this video first thing this morning, and my sister and her husband had to come over, and their kids were here, and so we kind of nixed our plans, me and my kids, so they could play with their cousins and spend time with them. And you know how when other people in your house, it's very difficult to continue with the routine that you had planned for that day or whatever. Not complaining. I love that my sister came over and they helped me to fix a toilet that I had a problem with too. So thanks, Amy, if you're watching this. But so you know, circumstances happen every day. Real life happens, and I get that. I know that. I'm in the midst of that right now. That real life just taking over. What, you know, the best laid plans. So, but I want to encourage you all in this to and if any of you guys are interested, I'll post a picture of that book that I've been reading. So the one that I intended to get, Pressing Pause, I did buy, haven't started it yet. I was going to read it along with the 31 Days one about the Martha Holman and Mary Way. But once I figured out that was really a devotional, it's a daily devotional basically for a month. I'm holding off on the other one. But anyways, if anybody's interested in it, I can post that. And it's just kind of funny how God can speak to you and show you. Here I am trying to get my home, you know, organized and manageable, what I consider to be manageable. And I'm learning where I'm missing the boat with my business and where my shortcomings are there. And how I'm not in a rut, I'm just out of my groove. And that's not even something that it talks about in the book. It talks about rhythms. It talks about setting your priorities and finding your rhythm, kind of like a daily rhythm, a daily routine, to keep your priorities in order. So, but it is kind of funny how God will speak to you in ways that you didn't expect him to speak to you. So, but anyways, I just wanted to make this video and talk to you guys about that and about being in a rut and how, you know, real, or maybe you're not in a rut, you're just out of your groove. But I'm making the commitment to get back into my groove. Lance and I definitely have goals to be emerald soon, and I'm not going to get there by being passive in my business and just posting on Facebook every now and then. I've got to get back to contacting you know, new people and reaching out all the time. And you know, if I do that, if I stay on track like that, I know we can do it very quickly. Just looking at what our business did from January through May, I guess it was phenomenal. I mean, if I could have another 5 months like that, which I can, if I will buckle down and have another 5 months like that, I guarantee you he and I will both be an emerald very soon. It's just a matter of finding that groove again, getting back in there, getting back into the swing of things. And it starts with making different things a priority. And one of those priorities for me has to be my Plexus business. It's got to be on the schedule. The times, you know, that I'm going to try to sit down and devote, even if it's 30 minutes to devote on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, or whatever that it looks like for you, and spend that time. Make sure you're not scrolling Facebook for that time that's supposed to be your actual Plexus time. Make sure that's time that you actually spend reaching out to new people and following up with people you've reached out to before, or following up with customers, talking to your level 1 ambassadors, encouraging them, training with them. You can do a daily training call with a level 1 ambassador, you know, and say, okay, it's going to be a 10-minute call, and, you know, and schedule it with them where, you know, you call them at 9 a.m. and it goes to 9:15 or to 9:10 or whatever, to where, you know, it's a time where, you know, you can encourage them, you can answer their questions directly, and do a little bit of training with them. So that's, you know, something that you can fit into that 30 minutes, you know, on whatever days that you can, but schedule that time and make it actual business time, to where, you know, you're reaching out to new people and following up with all those people. So, and if anybody needs help working on that kind of stuff, you know, getting a schedule together, what that would look like, holler at me. I'm more than happy to work with you guys one-on-one. And I have been getting in on some 3-way chats here lately on Facebook, and that's one of the ways that we've been adding new ambassadors to the team, which, by the way, guys, you guys have been doing awesome. I'm really excited about the team growth that we're still having. This is back to school time. It does get a little bit more difficult, and things kind of slow down a little bit, but it'll pick right back up. As soon as people are back into their groove again, then they're ready to take on something new. So don't feel like, well, I shouldn't be reaching out to people because it's back to school time and no one's going to listen to me. They just may not be ready to jump on board. But go ahead and still be contacting people, still be reaching out to people. I've already started that today. I reached out to 2 new people, and I followed up with 4. So just know that I'm here with you. I'm trying to get back into my groove too. If you're out of your groove, we can get back in it together. You don't have to throw in the towel, ever. There's never a reason to quit. There's never a reason to throw in the towel. If you still got a pulse, you can still do this business. Don't give up on it. And if you need encouragement, holler at me. I love to encourage you guys and to be there for you guys in any way that I can. I do want to get started back on weekly trainings. That's part of what I want to put back into my schedule. It gets very difficult because I know that, like, we've got Lori's training call on Wednesday nights, which I love, and I know a lot of you guys love. I don't want to step on that. But, you know, there's other teams that have calls on Monday nights, Tuesday nights, and that even though we may not be part of those teams, they're really good ones. But know that most of the team training calls are always going to be on YouTube, so you can always find them on Saturday morning and watch them then. So just know that it doesn't necessarily just have to be, you know, just because their calls on Monday night at 8:30 doesn't mean that you have to be watching it at 8:30 on Monday night. You can always catch it on Tuesday morning or on Tuesday afternoon after they posted it to YouTube. So anyways, I just want to let you guys know where I am and where things have been going for me and how I have gotten out of my groove, and I'm really working to get back into it. And you guys are very, very important to me, and I want to do anything and everything I can to help you guys out in your business and to help you all succeed as well. So anyways, guys, thanks for taking time to watch this. Please be in prayer with me as I'm trying to get back into my groove. And for any of you who feel the same way, comment below the video, and I'll be praying for you guys as well. Specifically in that, I do pray for you guys and for our team. But if there's something specific, like, you know, trying to get back into your groove, just comment below, and I'm going to add that to my prayer list as well for you guys individually. So thanks for taking the time to watch this, guys. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your Friday and a great weekend, and we'll be talking to you soon. Bye, guys.